Super pumped about today. This is 003. 003 of everything that I know.
Does that mean if we get to 007, we get to drink like whiskey and wear tuxedos?
It's not whiskey. It would be a...
it would be a martini.
Martini.
Yeah, shaken, not stirred.
What do you think about Senor Verde?
Who?
We both got that one.
Yeah.
Cool. How you feeling today?
Man, I almost didn't show up. I'm not going to lie.
Jeez.
You know, East Texas, we're the capital of the Bible Belt and also seem to be the capital of the flu, of everyone who's getting outbreaked with the flu.
I think I saw that on the news, right? Fox News was like the epicenter of the outbreak for 2019 was Tyler, Texas, our town.
Right. So I don't know if that's like a new modern day Bible story that God hated the capital of the Bible Belt, so everybody got the flu.
Plague. Yeah. Maybe. Could be. Who knows? Knock on wood. We've been healthy at our house.
Well, I'm fighting it. I don't have it yet. I did get a flu shot. So do you flu shots?
No.
You don't.
And we're not anti-vax either. We're just not lazy.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger kind of philosophy.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay.
Probably stupid. Oh, I'm going to get some serious emails over that one from my physician friends.
But so if that's the case, then if flu shot doesn't kill you, wouldn't that also make you stronger?
Exactly.
Okay.
Maybe. But yeah, whatever.
Yeah, so I'm fighting it. I don't have it yet. My girlfriend has it. And I took care of her this weekend a little bit, so I'm just trying to...
That's awful noble of you.
You know, I felt like a very good post-Valentine's Day trip to just show my love and affection by showing
how'd that go? How'd that Valentine's Day go? We talked about the stopping traffic to give her some donuts or something last week. I probably bombed on that. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, I showed up, surprised her with breakfast. That went great.
Oh, yeah, breakfast.
And then we just, we had a great time, and she made me an awesome scrapbook from the day we met to now, and it was pretty amazing. And I got a little teddy bear. So
you are a little teddy. Actually, you're a big teddy bear. That's funny. She got you a teddy bear.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
That, just so you know, that makes it official. Like y'all are a thing.
Oh, we've been official.
The teddy bear. No. You weren't official. You thought you were official
until I got the teddy bear.
Now that you have a teddy bear, it's over. It's the fucking bear. Seals the deal.
I think I'll get a puppy next.
Is it white?
It's a little small bear, and it has
like, is it brown, white, pink, red?
It's pink, white, and red. It has like hearts all over it.
I knew it.
Yeah, it's
a Care Bear.
It is. It takes care of me.
It's a Care Bear.
So
it's probably laden with flu, and that's why you're sick. Blame on the bear.
No. And so so we're just kind of see what happens. So I haven't worked out all week. And I almost canceled on you. So I've got all these excuses in the world. And
excuses.
So I thought that'd be a good kind of thing to talk about because I'm here.
Yeah.
But
you look great.
Well, thanks. Then I guess I don't have to work out.
I mean, you don't look sick. Is what I meant. Yeah.
So I'm under a lot of medicine, a lot of immune builder supplements.
Sups. I'm taking my sups, man.
So and drinking lots of water. So
that's it. That's the key. Hydration. Just get it done.
How do you feel about excuses? How do you overcome excuses? Like if you're starting to get sick and you don't want to go to the gym, do you just make yourself do it?
Yes.
All right, guys, that's our podcast.
That's it. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, you just do it. Yeah, it's a mindset. I mean, you've got, I would say, so I go to the gym 3 days a week, 5 a.m., work out for an hour with our trainer, Cooney Pena, 3 days a week. And so probably one out of those three, I'm already up, but I'm like, oh, man, really? Like, shoulder, and so, but you just go, and once you get there, it's the excuse is over. Once you're there, you're in it. I think it's just the getting in the car, driving across town, getting there. But once you're there, your mind, I think something clicks in your mind, you're ready to go. But yeah, excuses are hardcore, man. You can make excuses for everything. And I mean, it's just it's passing the buck. You have to point the finger at yourself continually, especially in business. As a business owner, I've heard people say, it's hard to be number one because when there's a problem and you're number three, you turn around and you look at number two, and number two says, I don't know, and turns around, looks at number one. Number one turns around and looks at the wall. Right. Like, oh shit, that's me. Forgot, guys. Let me try to fix this. So when the excuses kind of ramp up, you have to just muscle through and make the call. And so every time there's an error, you have to look back and say, well, I didn't get this done because of, me. And so you tend to, over the course of time, like years, you tend to say, okay, no more excuses. I got to own this. I've got to get this done. And so you move forward.
So do you get up? So 3 days a week, you're getting up at 5, or you're working out at 5 a.m. Mm-hmm. So those other 4 days of the week, are you also getting up at 4 a.m.?
Every single day, 7 days a week, unless I'm sick in bed, my alarm goes off at 4:01. I don't know why. That's my thing. 4:01, and I literally count down in my mind 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and my feet hit the floor, and then I'm up.
Oh, that's a really good.
I don't do snooze. I don't look at the clock. I just get up.
How long has it been since you've hit snooze?
A long time.
That's my problem. I like to snooze.
Now I do have 2 alarms set. One is at 4:01 and one is at 4:21, just in case. I mean, there have been occasions when I may have had a little too much to drink or been up too late. I'm usually in bed by 9:30. Asleep, not like in bed scrolling through Insta. I'm out. So my clock, sometimes I'll wake up at 2 a.m. and I feel rested, but I know I'm not. I need to go back to sleep. So I'll just, lay there and fall back asleep. But some people don't like to use an alarm. They just want their biological, what do you call that, circadian rhythm or whatever, to wake them up. And so I feel that, but mine's around 3:30.
Yeah.
And so that extra 30 minutes is good because that's really only, between 5.5 and 6 hours of sleep. And I like to function. I think I function optimally at 6 to 6.5 hours of sleep. Any longer than that, I don't feel well physically when I wake up. And so I just get up. But that, I don't remember. We'll have to look that up. 5-second rule. So a lady wrote a book about the 5-second rule, and I think somehow I absorbed that, and now I just count down. That's the only thing I use 5 for, unless I drop a lollipop. Then
I was about to say,
that's a 3-second rule.
I'm
right?
going to food right there. I'm like,
yeah, but that's 3 seconds.
I'm like, I have like a 30-second rule on that.
Yeah,
like
I'm probably mixing up my stories, but that's the only, that's the really only thing I apply that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 for. But I mentally count down in my brain 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I'm up. And then I'll pop in the office for 45 minutes. I do drink coffee. I don't eat until after my workout. I usually don't eat breakfast till, 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning. So I work out fasted. That's one thing. I do, most of the energy drinks and supplements out there are basically laden with caffeine anyway. So I literally have a cup of coffee, maybe 3/4 of a cup of coffee, and then go to the gym. Hurt, help, I have no idea, but it's my thing, right? So
see,
I don't really care.
It's and then you have the comparison of me, who I show up for my 6 a.m. workout after your 5 a.m. and I've just rolled out of bed.
You look hammered when you show up. So I walk out, all broken down and torn apart because I put in an hour of heavy lifting, and you walk in, your hair's like this or this, and your eyes are barely open.
Yeah, I wish I had time to drink a cup of coffee before I got to the...
Well, it's funny, though, but I've seen, because Cooney's real good about posting mid-workout Insta stories. Mm-hmm. And you don't look asleep, at 6:20 when he's putting y'all through the ringer. So.
Oh, that's because the camera's coming on. So I just wake up. I'm always... If the camera's on, it's like there's a snap in my brain.
You got
it just
your camera face.
Right.
It's like, the hair whips back. And
that's right.
Yeah, that's good.
It's like good. Cinderella... before she goes to the ball.
So you were trying to make some excuses today.
Oh, I made a lot of excuses.
About first it was the gym, and
I didn't work out.
You did not go to the gym today?
No.
That's terrible.
Oh, I know. So I decided that since I'm fighting this illness, I needed to get a little bit more sleep.
Yeah.
And because typically that's usually when I do get sick is when I haven't had enough sleep. So I was trying to protect myself by sleeping more. Now, is that a reason or is that an excuse? Is there a difference?
I think that's probably a substantiated excuse. There's some science behind what you said, so it makes the bullshit sound a little more believable. Yeah, it's science. I sleep more. I feel better. Yeah. No, that's scientific. More sleep, rest, hydration, all that stuff's good for you. So I'll buy into that. Yeah. You didn't sound well yesterday when we spoke. So
I'm feeling a little bit better.
yeah.
So I think my excuse helped me feel a little bit better. So it's a justified excuse now.
Whatever works, baby.
That's right. Yeah. So I mean, like, and that's kind of the same thing. And that's kind of what I think about is, a lot of people say, okay, this is an excuse, okay, or this is a reason. If you're in business and, say a job site, something gets messed up and someone comes to you and they say, oh, well, we didn't have the right tool. Okay. So that could be a reason why they messed up, or it could just be like, well, John was doing the wrong thing. Well, then they're not taking ownership. So I guess really at the end of the day, how you're able to combat your excuses and actually execute, which I think if our goal is executing, excuses are the number one villain of execution. So, I mean, how do you make that differentiation to people who you manage, if they're making a reason or an excuse?
So in people management, I think you can only let excuses cover the sins and errors and omissions of their craft or their work for so long, and then there has to be a parting of the ways. Now, from a budgetary standpoint, we do have so you're speaking on the construction side of things, on the development and real estate side. You can apply this to any business principle, but we have errors and omissions. So errors and omissions might be a broken window on a new construction project, or a crane that fell over and knocked half the building down. Human error or lack of planning or excuses, they all kind of play into the same thing. But we cover those excuses usually with errors and omissions. So the excuses that we don't tolerate as an organization are commitments with no follow through, and somewhere in between is an excuse. That's just something that we have to, walk away from, and we're just not going to do that, because we do what we say and we try to execute at the highest level. And years ago, that wasn't the case. I would overcommit and underperform. Horrible track record in that. But studying, believing, and working with other mentors and other people in the field and other successful business people, I come to understand that you can't give away your services, but you also can't overcommit, and underperform. So you can get a fair compensation for whatever it is you're doing, but you have to follow through and you got to get it done. And so those excuses just don't play out. So in our case now, I mean, we would be like, okay, that's fine. Let's try to help you work through that. And that excuse goes away. We push it to the side. We say that's no longer an excuse because we've worked through that excuse. And then we go on to the next one. If there's another excuse, someone does something else in an error or omission, or they just don't perform, but they've got another excuse, and we say, okay, how do we fix that one? Okay, because some of these are character flaws, and some of them are just bullshit excuses.
Right.
And if you help guide people through that and finally narrow it down to you're the excuse, like you're the error, you're the omission, you're the weak link, then you have to help them either pick themselves up by the bootstraps and redesign their character, or you have to say, look, I love you enough to let you go, adios. And usually I would say most people have to be let go in those instances because they're not ready to change. But the ones that do say, you know what, I do make excuse after excuse after excuse, and I do want to get better. Help me get better. Man, the light comes on, and you've really got something there to work with. And I mean, the people that have come through my organization or through, relationally through my life that have adhered to that or picked up on that, they've gone places and done great things. So that's kind of cool to see.
It's kind of like that last barrier they have to break before they go on to greatness.
Yeah, but it's my story too.
Right.
I was full of shit.
Yeah. So okay.
And then I wasn't, because I exercised that muscle of saying, no, I can't do that. I really want to, but I can't. because my overcommitment caused me to make excuses to underperform. It's horrible.
So what was the motivation for you? Like, what was going on? Was it someone who said, "Look, you got to get this together"? Was it just a big failure that you had to grow from? Like, what was the?
It was a series of failures, losses, L's. We talk about. It was a series of those over the course of many years that finally caused me to wake up. Now, outside influence was saying, "You know why that happened, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, okay. What are you gonna do about it?" "I'm not gonna ever overcommit and underperform again." "Okay." Well, 6 months later, I would do 3 or 4 good things, and then I'd have one big screw up where I said I can do it and I couldn't do it. So, but as a young business person or a young entrepreneur, you do that out of fear. You need to make money.
Right.
You're trying to make money. You were trying to make money. You're interested in growing your bank account. You want to succeed. So sometimes you take on things and you commit to things that you absolutely have no idea how to perform or execute on, but you do it out of fear of capital because you need to make the money to do the next thing. You do that out of fear because you tend to want to grow too fast. You want to move to the next level faster than you're able, faster than you're ready. So you shouldn't do that big deal and take that $1 million account that you can't execute on because you're not ready to execute on $1 million account or $1 million deal, right? You should take the $10,000 one and do 50 of those until you've killed them and crushed them. Then you take the $100,000 account and you move through that. But that takes years, and most people want to leapfrog all that to get to the big nut, and then it's over, because they blow it. So a lot of people blow up real quick and go away. You see that a lot in real estate. And what I mean by blow up, I mean they explode onto the scene. They look really successful, the big bright smile and the flashy sign, and then they're gone 3 years later because they had no staying power. And that happens. And I don't necessarily mean in real estate firms like, I mean just in the play of real estate as an investment, as a vehicle towards wealth and things like that. So, but yeah, that was my story. Make excuses and always try to get to the next thing until I pulled back and really started to think through and work on and execute on the small things first, do those little things well, and then put those in your pocket and be like, I got that nailed. Let me take on the next one. And they grow and they grow and they grow. And dude, that comes with age. That doesn't happen. I mean, if you're 19, 20, 22, 25, 29 right now, and you're hearing what I'm saying, you're like, you don't want to hear that. You want to hear, by the time I'm 31, I got a Lambo, But that's just not how it works. It's very rare. It does happen.
I turned 33 and I'm still loving my Kia.
I love your Kia too, baby. It's a smart ride, it's a good choice. So there's just different things that come up, and as we rabbit trail around that, I'm being as transparent as I can, telling, whoever's listening, I did this shit, so I'm telling you, don't do it.
Right.
Slow your roll, be patient, do what you say. Do what you say in the tiniest little things first, and then you can commit to the bigger things and the bigger things and the bigger things.
So I guess it's kind of, we live in the day and age where we want everything instant. We want to check the news, we pull up our phone, it's right there. We can see what's going on, what's the latest thing Trump said, boom, it's there. He just tweeted. So it's...
Throw that in there.
So it's a matter of, if you want to get food, okay, you have it delivered, and it may take 30 minutes, but you hate waiting that 30 minutes. You want it then. So I guess that kind of ties into, a generational thing as well of people who want instant gratification or want instant value rather than having to have patience.
Right.
And
I call it the microwave mentality. Yeah.
The microwave mentality?
Microwave mentality. I grew up, the first several years of life, we had no microwave. I remember getting a microwave, and it was about the size of a dump truck. It was very large. And it made a really loud noise and it vibrated. I mean, it was kind of scary, But yeah, I'm showing my age, and that wasn't that long ago. But it was awesome to know that I could throw a hot dog in there. I didn't have to boil water for 10 minutes and throw a hot dog in the pot to get it warm. Of course, we ate them cold too. But pop a hot dog link in the microwave for 8 seconds and throw some mustard on a bun. It's ready to go.
Right.
So it was just like that first experience for me. So yeah, you're right. Pop up your phone. What's the weather? What should I wear today?
Right.
God forbid, walk out on your back porch and see what the weather's like,
Right.
So yeah, I get it. It's all about instant.
And now we don't even have to pick up the phone. We just go, Alexa, play this song. Alexa, tell me the weather.
I mean, the whole culture is built around, especially what we're doing, it's built around Instagram, right?
Right.
So let me just give you my Telegram instantly, basically. Let's get it really, really fast. And so you can post a picture, and in 10 seconds, 17 people have liked it. I mean, maybe not our accounts, it may be 17 over 3 weeks, but it's coming.
It's growing.
It's growing.
We're going to be patient.
We're patient. Little things, man.
Right.
Little things. We're having fun, and that's what counts. And so that instant gratification can lead to excuses. But I saw some posts today that was early this morning, because that's the first thing I do when I come in the office. I get a cup of coffee, I sit down, I just kind of open up the socials and look through everything. I'm just kind of scanning, I'm watching, I'm looking, I'm seeing what's shaking out there and who's doing what. And I come across stuff all the time. It's just like, it's encouraging content, little pieces of content that are encouraging, and sometimes they're discouraging. They're like, if there was no Instagram, would you exist? Kind of question. I'm like, oh God, that's
right.
It's kind of dark.
I saw that
keep
post.
going.
I saw that post.
So
today.
It's cool. It's cool because it's legit. It's legit, and so that kind of stuff's fun to see. But anyway, I segued there for you.
No, it's all good. And I keep going back to kind of one thing that I've always I've been told too. It's good teams plan, great teams execute. And it seems like
I've heard that.
If you're a good team, you're planning, you're making all these things that you want to do. Like, for example, I've been talking about wanting to write a screenplay for 6 years.
Yeah.
So I've just said, okay, I am going to have a finished screenplay by the end of this year. And that's cool. One thing I'm saying, and I'm executing on it. I know it's not my original idea I had, but I know it's something that I need to do first before my original idea can really take off.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, I think, the same way we're talking about do those smaller accounts, and then you'll be ready to one day take on that large account.
Right.
And so this is
very few people write one screenplay and win an Oscar, right?
Right.
You write hundreds.
Right.
Hundreds and hundreds. Or you have thousands of ideas floating around in your head, and one day you nail one, but you just write because you want to write. It's like for me, playing the guitar, I wanted to step up my game, and I've never been that player that I wanted to be at, that level I wanted to be at. So I was like, you know what? I need private guitar lessons. And in 4 or 5 weeks of lessons so far, I've learned a tremendous amount. So I feel like I've gone backwards, but at the same time, I'm going leaps and bounds forward because I'm being faithful in those little tiny steps to get back to being better at what I'm doing. So in business, if I want to be a better leader, I need to grab as much information about being a good leader as I can in little bite-sized pieces. I'm not going to be the best business leader overnight. Just not. I mean, first of all, how do you lead 100 people in a successful organization? Well, first you lead 1, and then 2, and then 3. And if you fail on those 3, well, then you don't need 10 or 12 or 25. You've got to lead the 1, the 2, the 3, and grow slowly. And again, that's the instant gratification. You want to, go big or go home. I guess is the one thing a lot of people say. But yeah, you should get up or do it late, whatever your schedule is, and you should write. And you should just keep writing and keep writing and keep writing. Now, I don't believe in going back and perfecting that first version, the first iteration. I think you write it and you move on to the next ideal and you write that one too. Right. And 2 years later, you pull that one out of the box and go, shit, I should have done this in scene 3.
Right.
And you fill in the blank, right?
Absolutely.
Don't get hung up on, it's got to be perfect, because I think that'll kill you. I mean, I really do. I think that'll weigh on you as a creative.
And that's kind of where we are
unhealthy
with this one. It's my buddy wrote it probably 3 years ago, and I've told him I'd help him produce it. And then we kind of came back to the drawing board with it and said, hey, maybe we need to kind of rewrite this and reapproach this differently now that we know more. Right. And that's kind of what we're doing now. And so I'm excited to see where it goes. But so you mentioned, you want to do guitar lessons, you work out, and then you also, lead all these different endeavors that you're involved in. it's almost like you don't have a 24-hour clock. You have like your day is almost like it consists of 48 hours almost. How do you find time to do everything you have to do but still have fun?
So you prioritize your calendar. You put things on the calendar. I mean, a few years back, I discovered something, and a lot of people are talking about it now. They talk about white space, and there's a lot of people out there teaching white space, or at least espousing white space on your calendar. What that is imagine a white piece of paper with all the dates of the calendar on it, right? We could all have that mental picture. And, from 2 to 4 for 2 hours on Tuesday, it's white because you wrote nothing on it. That's it. That's your 2 hours of white space.
Okay.
That's it. So therein lies the structuring of your schedule, the discipline to put white space into your calendar that is your time. So entrepreneur, business owner, operator, husband, 4 children, committed to friendships, things like that, things that are important to me, they have to go on the calendar or they don't get done. And your day runs away from you, and 6 weeks later, you haven't read a book,
Right.
So for me, I have 2 days a week that I do an hour and a half of white space time. And now inside those times of white space, right now, I have about 30 minutes to myself because one of those is an hour of the guitar lessons.
Right.
And another one of those is the private Spanish lessons. And so on those 2 days a week when I have my white space scheduled, I've injected something else into those times. But I didn't take away from my business partnerships and my corporate meetings and my schedule for, accounts payable and things like that.
But it's still time devoted to you.
Absolutely. And if I don't have that, for me, I'm going to go insane. So now, will I occasionally forego those white space times and push through and work? Of course. Because sometimes there's deadlines. Sometimes there's things that take precedence. But I feel like I have a very balanced view on my schedule, and I feel like I have freedom. I also have some success, so I can fall back on my success as a freedom. It affords me the opportunity. I mean, if I don't show up to work, things still happen. If I don't show up for 6 weeks, shit's gonna fall apart.
Right.
It just will. So as a business owner, operator, entrepreneur, you have those luxuries that some might think they don't, because you can afford to do them. And I mean afford financially to do them. So what I've done is I've just injected that white space. And I think I started that in 2015. I did 2 days a week. I have shifted the days, but I still do the white space time. And I reduced it in 2019 from 2 hours to an hour and a half because I felt like I really needed that extra half hour to do more execution on the business side.
Okay. So how do you, and I think one of the ways that you can overcome excuses is you pretty much have to be accountable to yourself.
Right.
First and foremost. So how do you hold yourself accountable? So let's say you have that hour and a half that's devoted to you, but you could also just be like, okay, this hour and a half, I'm going to sleep.
Yep.
And I'm not going to execute.
And that's exactly what it's for.
Okay.
So it's an hour and a half of the not normal every day.
Okay.
So I don't play guitar every day.
Right.
I don't take Spanish lessons every day. I'm practicing every day now on those things, but it's very small pieces. But the white space is an undetermined time. You can go sit on a park bench. You can have a glass of wine. You can, take a nap. You can read a book. It's your time. You define what it looks like inside. You can game, get your controller out and go to town,
Right.
It's your time to disconnect from the world that we live in, that I live in anyway. And it doesn't work for everybody. It works for me. It works great for me. It allows me to just step away for a minute and then step back in. And I'm refreshed. I've reset. And I wish I could do it every day, to be honest with you. But I feel like 2 days a week is good enough for now, because I'm not Gary V. I'm not working till 11 p.m. at night.
Right.
I'm home usually by 6. So I'm gone at 4 a.m. I'm back in the middle of things to help with the kids going to school routine, but then I'm out. And it's usually, even though we've tried historically to push that back to 5 p.m., 5:15, 5:30, there's just things that have to be done. And it's usually, 5:45, 6 o'clock, sometimes a few minutes after that. Is that something that I have guilt about? No. I have no regrets on that. I know it's hard sometimes because we do have little children, but I feel like if I don't complete what I'm not necessarily what I'm working on in the moment, but if I don't complete what I'm trying to do, when I get to my home, I'm not there.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm still here, but my body's there. And
Right.
so I need to get that closure, that lights out, let's go do the other thing. And that's something that I struggle with still, even getting home at that hour. I mean, honestly, it is, because I walk into a lot of chaos sometimes with 4 kids, you can imagine.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway,
And I guess, to a little on the personal side too, if you're just like, oh, well, I got work on the brain.
Yeah.
Well, then you're using an excuse against, your family. And then that gets in the way.
It's absolutely an excuse. It's probably the number one place that I struggle, as an entrepreneur, father, husband is turning the work off and being present. That's very difficult. And I think that I would say that most men probably have that problem to some degree. And then, others probably struggle with it more. But again, back to the white space. It's your time.
Yeah.
You fill it in however you want to fill it in. You just don't book anything in that time. You don't give it to your team members. You don't give it to a friend. You don't give it to a colleague, a business meeting. Now, you can, when it arrives, do what you want with it. And you can put that friend in there for lunch, or that book you've been wanting to read, or that store you've been wanting to go to for a while. I mean, really, it's infinite what you could fill it with, because it's your time.
Right.
It's just not, in the world where we have 30-minute, 45-minute, hour and 15-minute meetings, and sometimes they're back to back, and sometimes we go a day or so without very many meetings at all. It's that time where you just check out and then you check back in. So for me, it's great. And mine's towards the end of the day. It's a little around, I think it's 3 p.m. Is that right? 3 p.m. Yeah. And so at 3 p.m., I'll tell you, it's Monday and Thursday. Don't bother calling me. Don't bother texting me, because at 3 p.m., there's an alarm that's set on my calendar, and it pops off. And when it does, I put that phone on silent and turn it upside down, and usually leave the room,
Right.
go do something else. But again, it's your time, so you are in control of it, and you're afforded the opportunity to work through and push through if you feel like you need to. Just don't do that. I don't do that regularly.
Right.
I check out regularly, and that helps me tremendously.
And I guess it's also kind of hard too for people who work an 8 to 5 job, that they have to be dedicated to their job, but at the same time they still have to give themselves time to themselves. So it's like, okay, I got to give myself an hour before I go to bed.
Yeah.
Or I have to get up early, to give myself that time.
Yeah. So,
and I guess in a way, your white space, essentially is at 4 when you wake up.
Yeah.
So I'm sure,
So yeah, because there's nothing going on at 4:15 when I walk in this door.
Right.
Like, it's quiet. Nobody here. No lights on. It's dark. I really only turn one light on, that little lobby light out there. It's very, very faint candlelight almost. And, that's some time also that I have. But usually when I come in, I don't consider that my white space, because I start orchestrating my day and what's going to happen. I look at my calendar, what's on the calendar for the day. I start to mentally prepare for anything that's upcoming. I may have to log on to a desktop and do some work and, prepare something for a meeting later in the day or something like that. Or there might be a reminder that pops up, I've got to do something. So really, my white space is, late in that afternoon. But for any individual, this circles all the way back to excuses. Well, I don't have time for white space. Make time. You have to make time.
Right.
And it's just like for anything, going to the gym, creating white space, being a better boyfriend, husband, employee. You just got to make time for that stuff. And
you got to be accountable to it. You got to be accountable to yourself.
To that. You got to be accountable to the journey. And sometimes that's another person. Sometimes that's yourself. It comes in various ways, but just to beat the drum of no excuses, which is kind of where you landed today when you walked in. Just do something, and don't, go to the gym one time. Do white space for 1 hour a week, just once, and just try it. and then take baby steps. The biggest problem is people try to adopt a new culture for themselves or a new lifestyle, and they are all in, and 13 days later, they're all done.
Right. It's like the New Year's diet.
It's like the New Year's thing, yeah. And I've seen that. That's changed a little bit over the last few years since I've been involved in health and wellness. It's no longer the first part of January where it's busy. It's really the end of January and early February when they've made excuses for the first 2 or 3 weeks.
Right.
And then they've come back. But the point I'm trying to make is just stop making excuses. Just do something, and just do a little tiny piece of something, and then just do a little bit more the next day or the next week or the next month. And, goals, long-term, big, huge, they call them BHAGs, big, hairy, audacious goals, BHAGs. Those aren't attained in a few weeks or a few months even. They're big. We talk about my 40-year plan. Literally. That's not a joke. That's something I have on paper, on my phone somewhere. Yeah, maybe some paper, some napkins and stuff like that, where the ideals start to flow. But that's real. And so it's also ratcheted back to 30, 20, 10, 5, 3, 2, 1. Well, in order to get to that 40, I've got to do a bunch of little things between now and then. I don't just jump to the big ones. I got to do all these little ones first. This is one of the little ones.
Right.
Then I'm having a blast doing this, it feels great to do this. So you just have to do little, small, bite-sized tasks, and then they accumulate. And when they accumulate, they turn into actionable items. And those actionable items get you one step closer to your goal. And so if you have a 6-month goal to lose 30 pounds, which is 5 pounds a month, well, then you break that down into how many pounds a week do I have to lose, or how much fat do I have to lose. And a lot of times it's not about weight, it's about size. Then you just break it down and you go, well, in order to burn 400 extra calories a day, I need to do 20 minutes on the treadmill, and I need to walk around the parking lot of my office complex. Map it out.
Right.
And then do one little step at a time. And so that's true for anything. If you want to be a better business leader, if you want to be in better shape, a better friend, a better, spouse or boyfriend, girlfriend, partner, it's all actionable. Can't make excuses anymore. I really think that the excuses are, they're toxic. They really are. That's for you, baby.
That's good. And I'm feeling better because I showed up and did this.
I'm so glad you showed up.
Yeah, I am too. So, wow.
What do you got in closing today? You look like you just got punched in the mouth.
I'm feeling I just ate a big bowl of humility.
I thought you were going to say Captain Crunch or something like that. No, humility.
Oh, man.
Well, I'm not saying anything to you that I wouldn't say to anyone else. I'm living this stuff. You know what I mean? Like, these are the conversations I've had with myself over the years, and here we are.
Right. Well, this one hit home for me, for sure. And hope it hit home to a lot of other people as well.
Absolutely.
And, if you're listening to us, thank you. 003 in the books, closer to the martini.
Closer to the martini. That's definitely going to happen, by the way. Even if it's 11 a.m., I don't care. You know me, I really don't care. Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for watching the latest podcast. We sure appreciate all of your time and attention and everything that we're doing. We're going to bring you everything we know every chance we get. Thanks again.